Bring us the faces of young girls, and we will make you rich beyond imagination. But only one condition: you must serve this ocean forever! You must not break this rule!
Anybody who arrived at Cuba Town would always ask one troubling question. Why are there so many AIDS remain in this town? No young girls,
at all.
and yet
Just young boys,
there are a
na
lot of
sickness be this.
young and healthy men. Before now, Cuba Town looked like paradise. The roads were neat, the houses were well built, and the people were warm and welcoming. But as visitors stayed longer, they began to notice something strange. The town was filled with many elderly women. Their eyes were sharp and full of life, yet their bodies were bent with age. Many of them spoke like young people trapped inside old skin. The men of the town, they were different. They were young, handsome, and full of strength. But you will hardly see any young girls in Cuba Town. And if you see a young girl today, by next week, she will suddenly look like a grandmother. The truth is, most of these elderly women do not grow old naturally. No. Most of these old women in Cuba Town were victims of two evil twin brothers who made deals with an ancient mermaid to collect the youths of young, beautiful girls in exchange for wealth. Before we continue with this interesting story, please click on the subscribe button to get notified whenever we post a new story. Now back to the story. Before the curse, Cuba Town was one of the happiest places anyone could live in. People came from faraway cities to relax, to look for jobs, and to get new lives. Laughter filled the streets, and music echoes from houses every evening. At the far end of the town stood a huge ocean. Long ago, fishermen walked there, but over time, strange stories began to spread. Boats disappeared. Fishermen never returned. People started calling it the evil ocean. And the place was abandoned for years because of many frightening stories surrounding it. The women of Cuba Town were known across the land for their beauty and curvy bodies. Families were proud of their daughters, and weddings happened every week. But the fate of these young girls of Cuba Town changed the day two lazy twin brothers, Emeka and Ebuka, entered their town. They came with only one intention, to get rich overnight. They have had many stories about Cuba Town, easy money,
Sure, my
beautiful
brother. You
women,
go get rich
fast
overnight with all
success,
these stories
and
you
many,
don't hear
many
about this
more
town.
stories. But after weeks of searching, no good job came their way. They get frustrated. We cannot continue to suffer like this, so Emeka complained one night. There must be another way. Ebuka replied. That was how they began to look for the fastest ways to get rich. During one of their restless searches for sudden wealth, they heard about the abandoned ocean and how the ancient mermaid lure people there, offer wealth in exchange for their soul. Without minding the cost, the twins decided to go and make deal with this mermaid. When they reached the abandoned ocean, everywhere was silent. No bird flew above it, no animal passed nearby. Even the wind itself felt afraid. They stood at the shore and shouted together, "Oh, precious one, we are here to offer our soul in exchange for wealth." They shouted again and again and again. On the third call, the water shook violently. Soon, two ancient mermaids rose from the ocean. At first sight, the twins were frightened, but they stood still. These mermaids were not beautiful at all. They looked old and very ugly. Their skin was pale and cracked, and their eyes were dark and terrifying. One of the mermaids spoke. "Bring us the faces of young girls, and we'll make you rich beyond your imagination. But you must serve us forever." The mermaid needed the face of the young girls to renew their own. So one of the mermaids dropped an ancient box filled with pearls and two tiny silver clothes. She told them to use the silver cloth to wipe the faces of young girls and bring it back to them. Before the twins could ask any question, the mermaids disappeared. With the pearls, Emeka and Ebuka sold their soul to this mermaid. And that marked the beginning of their success and the end of Cuba Town's young girls. They sold the pearls and become rich. They moved into fine apartments and begin their evil work. They opened the bar so they could meet young girls easily. That was where they met their first victims, Amina and Dora. They invited them to their house, drank together, and soon the girls slept off. The twins wiped their faces with a silver cloth, and immediately the cloth shone, which means that they have successfully stole the girls' youth. That the same night, they returned to the ocean, and the mermaids reward them with more buses of pearls and more silver cloths. Within days, Amina and Dora began to age rapidly. Their beauty faded, their bodies weakened, and within 1 week, they became old women. Their young spirits were trapped inside aged body. Confused and afraid, they went to hospitals, but doctors said nothing was wrong with them. The doctors did not even believe them when they said they were just 26 years old, but they looked like 60 years. The girls got tired of moving from hospitals to hospital and explaining themselves. Their lives were completely destroyed. While Amina and Dora was struggling, Emeka and Ebuka enjoyed their riches, collecting more young faces for the mermaids. Each time they returned the silver clothes, the mermaids increased their demand. With the money they got from the pearls, the twins built mansions, bought expensive cars, and opened the most beautiful hotel in Cuba Town. Young girls visited unaware of the dangers waiting for them. In less than 3 months, they became the richest men in Cuba Town. They were admired by many ladies, while young girls mysteriously aged overnight. Using their hotel, they carefully planned their victim. Only young girls, just young girls. Soon, parents and young men began to ask questions. Is this a sickness? Why are young girls aging so fast? No one has an answer to that question. Despite the tears and the agony of these young girls in Cuba Town, the twins continued their evil work. Within 6 months, over 500 young girls lost their youth. Sometimes, the twins even gathered old women, including their victim, and shared gifts with them. People praised them and never suspected they were behind the cause. They were always careful, making sure their victims slept before wiping their faces, until one day they organized a private party in their mansion and invited over 30 young girls. Everybody ate, danced, and drank, except one girl, Zina, who stayed quiet throughout the party. While the girls slept off, Zina only pretended to sleep. Thinking everybody was asleep, then they began to wipe the faces of the young girls. Zina saw everything and tried to escape, but Emeka rushed to her. So you small girl, you want to spoil our business, Abi? He shouted. He quickly wiped her face, and instantly, Zina felt weak and collapsed. By morning, the girls returned home, including Zina, and Zina told everybody what she saw. She always cried on the street. Those twins are evil. They are the ones doing this to us. People need to know the truth. The twins are evil. She warned people to stop visiting their hotel. The twins heard this and became angry and planned to silence her. But before they could execute it, Zina left Cuba Town and nobody heard about her again. Her disappearance made people suspect the twins, but there was no evidence to use against them. As time passes, the mermaid grew greedy. They demanded more faces, but the twins could no longer meet their demands. This is too much now, Emeka said during one of their meetings with the mermaid. There are no more young girls left in this town. No young girls at all. We have offered you all the young girls. The mermaids got angry. She warned them that if they refused to continue with their job, that they would pay with their life. When they got home that day, the twins began to regret their decision. There were no more young girls left in Cuba Town. But it's either they continue supplying the mermaids with young faces or they lose their lives. Emeka said to the brother, we have gotten the money we want. We need to leave this town now. Besides, this mermaid won't know. And the people of this town, they're already suspecting also. Emeka said to him, making deal with this mermaid is the worst decision we ever made. So the twins planned to leave Cuba Town. One Friday early morning, they packed their bags and said to leave the town. But on reaching the border of Cuba Town, they saw themselves back to the city. They were shocked. How is this possible? They asked themselves. We just drove out of the city. They didn't know how they got back to the city again. They drove again and reached to the boundary. They just disappeared back to the city. They tried and tried and tried and tried till it got dark. They now realized that they cannot leave Cuba Town. Their soul was locked in the ocean and they won't be able to leave Cuba Town ever again. They realized that they are forever doomed. It's either they serve the mermaids or they pay with their lives. So the twins decided not to go back to the ocean ever again. But they didn't know that once you collect gifts from these mermaids, you cannot run. You cannot hide. They must find you. Weeks passed and the twins did not bring any new faces to the mermaid, nor even show up. These mermaids got angry. The water began to grow violet. From the town, you can hear the sound of the ocean. The ocean continuously trembled non-stop for days. One evening, the twins were sitting comfortably in their luxury sitting room when they began to hear a tiny sweet melody. They didn't even know what happened, but they saw themselves going to the ocean. They couldn't stop themselves from moving. It was as if a heavy force was pushing them and they can't control it. Reaching there, the twins saw thousands of ancient mermaids sitting on the water. Their faces were scary and they filled with great anger. Emeka and Ebuka fell on their knees and pleaded for their lives, but it was late. Another force pushed them closer to the queen mermaid. She said to them, I blessed you. I made you rich, but you broke our deal. And both of you will pay with your life. She grabbed the twins by their hands, and within seconds, Emeka and Ebuka aged hundreds of years, turning into weak, wrinkled shadow of themselves. Their words vanished automatically. Their hotel collapsed. Everything they had disappeared within seconds. The mermaids laughed hard and disappeared into the water. The twins lay there weak and they couldn't stand. Nobody to help them. They lay at the shore of the ocean, helpless, regretting, and after some months, their body began to decay. They died alone, not buried, just bones shattered at the shore. And Cuba Town was free, but the young girls, they still remain old forever. The story about these evil twins brothers went round the town and beyond. And the story made people to be scared of going to Cuba Town. This story teaches us never to accept gifts from spirits and always try to work hard, because hard work pays. There is no shortcut to wealth. You either work hard or remain poor forever. Thank you guys for watching. See you in another Mystery Tales by Amma.